A long time ago, there were two priests who had a journey ahead of them that would take hours until they could reach the monastery. And so as they embarked on this journey, along the way, they reached a river. Even though the river is narrow, it is quite turbulent and powerful. And so as they crossed this river, they were approached by a young lady. And so she needed to get somewhere which is across the river. And so she asked them very kindly if they could help her cross this river. Now, one of the priests thought about this, and having spent all of his life in celibacy, never touched a woman in his life, there are many precautions and difficulties that come with this. Whereas the other priest, he didn't even think twice. He picked up the lady, put her on his back, and crossed the river, and then came back. Now, the other priest was in shock. He did not expect his friend that he has shared his priesthood with for all of his life to take such an action. This is blasphemous. How could this be? And so even though they carried on walking for hours and hours and hours, the priest, who was shocked, kept reminding the other priest who picked up the girl that what he had done is wrong, that he shouldn't have done it, and that he demanded an explanation. And so as they finally reached the monastery, after many hours of walking, the priest who carried the girl finally spoke, and he told him that, "I carried the girl on my back for 5 minutes. You've been carrying her on your back for 7 hours. Now, looking at it from both perspectives, realistically, neither of them are right or wrong. One priest is just following the rules that he's been taught. The other priest, he didn't follow the rules, and so he followed what he felt was right. And so this opens a discussion of what is really right or wrong in any given moment. Now, that question to me is what I would refer to as a healthy confusion. It is a healthy confusion because it displays to you and shows you the limitations of the mind. You can only intellectualize things and try your best to do everything correct and right and in the right way the whole time. But at times life isn't black and white. There is this grayish area. And sometimes we have to follow our hearts. And this could mean that yes, you may have to transcend and look beyond rules of your upbringing, your belief systems, and what have you. To me personally, what I believe is the clarity of intention. How clear are your intentions? When you are embarking on a journey, when you are about to take part in any form of activity, what is your intention? What are you trying to gain from this? And so that in itself should justify your action. But the justification of that action can't be personal. It can't be on an egocentric level. No, it would have to be on a larger level, on a more wider universal perspective. Not only am I thinking about whether this action will harm me or not, but I'm also thinking about how it will harm others, how it may have a knock-on effect maybe in 40 years. Because we have the ability to perceive and to be aware of the cause and effect in any action, we should use this tool, we should use this gift of life to really look at things to that extent. We've all heard the butterfly effect. As the wing of the butterfly is flapped, that could cause a tornado thousands of miles away. And even though this is relatable on a sort of geographic sense, you can also reflect this analogy on a sort of time scale sense. What you are doing today, what your intention is today, will in one way or form shape how you will be in 10 years' time or 20 years' time. As a matter of fact, every single thing you have ever done, every single breath you've breathed, every single heartbeat, every single thought, every action you've taken has actually all led you to this one moment to shape you the way you are right now. And so we've got to imagine how we would like to be shaped in the future. Going back to the story, another piece of wisdom we can get out of this is that what is true to you only needs to be true to you. It doesn't need to be true to someone else. Because the lack of happiness we sometimes feel in life is because of the misalignment with ourselves. We at times try to be someone else, or we try to walk someone else's shoes or follow someone else's rules. But at the end of the day, you've got to do what you feel is right, and that's when you are the happiest. That's when you function the most optimally. And it's extremely challenging to try and filter out society's different opinions and judgments, let alone your own personal opinions and judgments. And so, go with your heart. Truly understand what it is that you need to do in every moment. Imagine what it feels like to walk this planet knowing why you are taking every single step, and you feel it deep inside you with conviction. Even though I've said this before and I'll say it again, it is my mission to give you that spark within your heart that inspires you to be who you want to be, to achieve what you want to achieve with conviction, to feel as complete as you could ever feel. Now, to get this started and to get the ball rolling, I'd like you to share with me what it is that you've always wanted to do, what it is that you've always wanted to achieve in the comment section down below. This may be challenging because it may be the first time you're putting it out there in the world, but by you putting it out there in the world, you are at the very least one step forward to getting it back from the world. Thank you for sticking around, and see you next week.